Yep, I'm back on Snapchat. I've been over in Instagram for maybe a month, a little bit longer. And you know what? I've missed the old neighbourhood. The way I feel is that Instagram is the kind of place where people peek through their blinds and take a look at what you're doing. But Snapchat's the kind of place where people lean over the back fence and have a little chat to you. And I've missed some of you guys that I have little chats with around our stories on Snapchat. So hello, I am back. So what have you missed? You've missed a month on the Sunshine Coast in Coolum as part of this trip. You've missed me hitting the 6-month mark. Yeah, 6 months since I moved out of the apartment in Sydney. You've missed me relishing being in a warmer climate in winter, around about 23, 24 most days. Lots of trips to the gym. The end of 5 weeks of incredibly intensive work. Still doing some work, but I've got like 1 or 2 projects rather than 5. You've missed our association with the cat in the house, which I'll show you in a moment. He's been in our Airbnb. But you're about to come on an exciting leg of the journey with us. Here's our little house cat. This is Salem. Salem's been hanging out with us for the last month here in our Airbnb. And she's been an extraordinarily friendly and affectionate cat. And we're going to miss her tremendously. Okay, time to stop snapping. I've got the top packed, I've got the back packed, got a little bit more packing to do. Just get Jess out of bed and we're heading off. We've got about 5 hours. Okay, time to stop snapping. I've got the top packed, I've got the back packed, got a little bit more packing to do. Just get Jess out of bed and we're heading off. We've got about 5 hours of driving to do today. I'll fill you in later. We've stopped for lunch. We've been driving for about 2 hours and we're getting north out of Coolum and the Sunshine Coast. We're near a place called Maryborough and Harvey Bay, where a lot of whale watching is done. This is a lovely little rest stop. Really cute. Jess has packed some overnight oats into these jars. She assures me it's going to look really pretty when she's prepared it. That's pretty good for a roadside lunch. Thank you, Jess. Afternoon tea. Locally grown pineapple, fresh from the growers, at a not-so-pretty roadside stall, but nonetheless convenient. Okay, let's take a look at the geography. So we've been staying on the Sunshine Coast. Brisbane is around here, so we've been a little north of Brisbane. Sydney, from where we started the whole trip 6 months ago, is down here. So we're in the process of moving from here on the Sunshine Coast up to Cairns, and you can see it's probably twice as far as Sydney up to the Sunshine Coast was. 1,600 kilometres, big trip. So today's leg wasn't really that far, 419 kilometres, 4 hours 43. We left at 9:30. We got in at about 3:30, I think. So we had a couple of stops on the way. We've just been to the gym to freshen up, and I've got some work still to finish off on a project I'm working on for the Learning and Performance Institute, editing a capability map, a whole stack of drafts that working groups have put together. But I've got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty weary. I've got to get this job finished by tomorrow night, but I think I'll have an early night. I'm working it tomorrow in the morning before we go. So tomorrow's trip is about 5 hours from Gladstone to Mackay. Gladstone itself is pretty industrial. There's not much to see or do here, but the Mercure is quite nice for the night. So that's it for me snapping. It's nice to be back on Snapchat. You have to bear with me for another 3 days of this trip, and then we'll be in Cairns and we'll have a lot more fun up there.